Very good morning, one and all, and I heartily welcome our today's wonderful speaker, Mrs. Kangembam Ranjita Devi, and all the participants. I extend my heartiest welcome again on the third day of our online training program. So before we begin with the program, I would like to introduce our today's speaker. She is Madam Kangembam Ranjita Devi. I will read out a short biodata about Madam so that everyone can know. Madam is currently serving as the Chief Executive Officer at the State Institute of Hotel Management, Applied Nutrition and Catering Technology, Manipur. She was the former Dean Classic Hospitality Training Institute, UK. Madam is certified in the Workplace Skill Trainer, the City 7 Guilds, UK. And then Madam is a very famous soft skill trainer in various institutes like Manipur University, Aviation Academy, Hospitality Management, etc. And she has more than 18 plus years of experience in hospitality industry. And then we are very fortunate to have Madam on our platform. In spite of our busy schedule, she warmly accepted our invitation. So Madam, I'm also very happy to meet you this platform. I have been following you, and I'm happy that today you could contribute your vast experience in the field of soft skills for the welfare of our students. Our students, no doubt, they are very good in hard skills. Not only our students, my faculty members here, my colleagues, everybody is very expert in hard skills. But we do realize that soft skills contribute a lot in our resume in the interview. So Madam, kindly guide us in today's platform. The platform is all yours. You can start.
Thank you so much. I think my voice is clearly audible to everyone, and I am visible.
Yes.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction, and I'm so glad and honored to be here with everyone, and I'm so excited actually to see such a good number of participants, and thank you again once again for giving this opportunity to share some of my experience, whatever I have learned or whatever I have known throughout my 18 years of experience in this industry. So thank you so much. I hope this training sessions would definitely give some benefit to all the participants. And I'm pretty sure that in the previous last two sessions as well, the participants had actually learned quite a lot, because all the topics, whichever has been shared, or all the other topics which will be coming up in the future sessions also, are all very, very important. Like you have just mentioned right now, that soft skills has become one of the most important part in everyone's life, no matter it may be for a person who is working, or it may be just a simple housewife, or it may be a school going person. These days it's very competitive, so soft skills has become one of the major important part which everybody needs to possess. So I'm very glad and very excited at the same time for this session. Just want to mention one thing, that I am not going to share any PowerPoint presentation today. I feel this will be more connective. I can get more connected with all of you, that you can see me, I can see you all. So I'm not going to share any PowerPoint presentation, but I would be sharing few things which I have experienced it in the interview skills part. And I believe even yesterday also, how to ace the interview skills topic has been covered up, and all the participants might have learned quite a lot yesterday about the interview skills. So to add more on the same topic, how to polish your interview skills, so I'll be sharing few points on that. Well, to begin with, I would just like to say that why actually we need this interview skills? It's because these days it's very competitive, and we have many qualified unemployed people, but we have very less job vacancies again. So there would be one or two job vacancies, but you would most of the time find that we have lots of participants, or sorry, lots of applicants. So it has become very competitive. So this is the main reason why we are studying, or why we are practicing of how to pass the interview, why we need to have this particular skill, so that that job comes in our hand. Now, when an interviewer takes an interview, they usually focus in two particular skills: soft skills, which we have been discussing since day one, and another one is again hard skills. Now, when the person is sitting in front of the interviewer, or when the person is giving an interview, I'm 90% sure that this person has already fulfilled the eligibility criteria of that particular job profile. So that means this person already has the hard skills. But now, during the time of the interview, what we have to highlight more, or to impress the interviewer, comes the soft skills part. So when we talk about soft skills, how we present ourselves, our self presentation, or our friendliness, our flexibility, the personality, the pleasant personality traits which we have to present in front of the interviewer, how much flexible we are, how much enthusiastic we are, or how much interested we are to, to get that job, or to get that job profile. So these are few things which we have to highlight during the time of the interview, and this is the reason why we have to study interview skills, or how we have to polish our interview skills. Now, again, I would like to say that the product knowledge, when a job profile, or there is a vacancies of a one particular job profile, and we know what the job is going to, what kind of job it is, we know that, but knowing the product knowledge is only not required for the person to get a job, or for that person to bring a growth of the organization, or bring growth for themselves as well while working as that particular job profile. So basically, one need to stay very organized and stay very proactive. So these are all the things which the interviewer usually focus when or see when we go for any kind of interview, and they would never look for someone who is already perfect, but they would definitely like to see someone who is very interested or dedicated to work as that particular job, to work as that particular job profile, wherever we are applying for. And also they definitely would like to hire someone who is trainable, who is dependable, and who is reliable. So they don't actually look for someone who is perfect. Of course, the eligibility criteria, when we talk about hard skills, yes, that is must, but again, at the same time, they actually look for someone whom they feel that who will definitely focus more on the organizational goal, rather than focusing only on the individual goal. So when any employer hire an employee, they invest lots of time, money, and energy on their employees, so that the person um, take lots of initiatives, work hard, so that there will be a growth of the organization, the person grow along with the organization. So they focus on giving a proper training on their employees. So they definitely checked the stability of the person as well when they hired an employee. So during the time when we are giving our interview, when we are presenting ourselves, we have to make sure that what is that particular things, what kind of qualities, or what is the thing which the employers is looking in us, or what is that they want from us. So whatever they are looking for, or whatever they want, the kind of employees or the type of personalities they are looking for, we have to make sure we present ourselves in that way so that they like us and they hired us. So this is the basic idea of the preparations we will be doing in the interview skills. Now, there are many things which we have, the small little things which is very helpful for us if we prepare it properly and give an interview, because small things there, again, if we make mistakes, we may lose the points and we may not get through with the interview. So um, to make the interview easy or to make the interview difficult is also sometimes even in our hand, because even though the questions may come in a very different way, but even though if you don't know the answers of the questions being put up by the interviewer, but still the way you present yourself, the way you give the interview, how you handle the answers of the questions, even though you don't know the correct answers and you are not able to provide the correct answer, but still you can get the job if you have this term so-called soft skills. So that's why we are focusing more on that. So today I would share two things. One is the preparations which we are supposed to do before we go for any kind of interview, and on the day of the interview, what are the things we are supposed to do so that we don't make any mistakes and we get through with the interview. So to begin with, the first point, if you would like to note it down, you can note it down. So first thing, we have to make sure that we do a proper research about the organizations where we are going to apply a job. So call, for example, XYZ organization is calling for XYZ job profile. Okay. So before we go for any kind of interview, it is very important that we need to study well about what this company is all about, or what this organization is all about, what kind of organization it is. I'll give you a very simple, easy example. Like, I am mostly based in the hospitality industry, so this always come up in me. So, example, we are going to apply a job in a Oberoi hotel. So, without knowing anything about the Oberoi Hotel, if we just go blindly and give an interview, then maybe during the time of the interview, the interviewer may ask, okay, why do you want to associate with us? What do you know about us? Right. So when we don't have any informations about that particular company where we are applying for, then that shows that we are not so much interested, or uh, we have not done any research. We are just coming and giving the interview blindly. And I find it very funny that sometimes, when I have taken interview, when there is a vacancy of a particular job profile, and when we take interview, I find it very funny when the applicant just come and I say, okay, why do you want to work with us? Then sometimes they answers in a very funny way by saying that, okay, I have not I am a jobless person, I haven't got any job in my hands, so just because I didn't have any job, so I've seen somewhere from the newspaper or from friend circles that there is a job vacancy, so I came here because I want to work, I am a jobless. So if you present this kind of thing, idea in front of the interviewer, no one is interested to think about you. No one is interested in your life. No one is interested to see whether you are a working person, whether you have a family issues, whether you need money, whether you need job, this and that. No one is interested in that, because if I am an interviewer, my point is I want someone I would definitely hire someone who will be beneficial for my company, who is very much interested to get associated with my company, who is very much eager to prove themselves or to do their best, to give their best, who is very much desperate to get a job or associate with our company and definitely work hard and bring a growth of the company. So everybody, every interviewer or a person who is going to hire you, definitely they would think for their company first, not for you. So when we hire an applicant or an employee, then we want someone who will be giving benefit to us, not we will not think about we will not think much about your life or your life background. That comes later on when you start associating with the organization. So coming back to that, this is the reason why we are saying that it is important for us to study about the basic information of the organization to make yourself build that relationship, or to make the interviewer feel that okay, you are really interested in that particular company and you want to work, because there are many companies. Why are you here? Why not in other company? So these questions, when it comes, definitely you have to make sure that this company is one of the best or one of the well established company, and to begin your career or to get associating with this company is going to give a very good growth in your life or in your career. So making this kind of impressions to interviewer the interviewer becomes very happy and excited. They get impressed when we give this kind of, when we portray like this, or when we show this kind of attitude in front of the interviewer. So this is the reason why we have to do a proper research about the organization. Now, the second thing, again, not only about the organization, but we have to do a proper research about that particular job profile where we have vacancies. If we are applying for a job of receptionist, what is the basic? I'm talking about basic. Okay, what is the basic roles and responsibility which we have to do when we work as that particular job profile? If I'm going to apply for a job of a receptionist, what is the main job of a receptionist? The basic things: welcoming the people, welcoming the customers, and taking care of them, greetings, basic. At least everywhere we know that receptionists what they do. So without knowing anything about the job profile, like I said before also, that there was a vacancy, so I came there because I need a job. So we can never portray ourselves like that in front of the interviewer. They would definitely not like you. So maybe, may not be, they might even ask, what do you know about this job profile, or can you tell us a little bit the basic job role and responsibility of this job profile? Or say after you get hired as that particular job profile, what do you think, what will be your responsibility, what are the things which you will be doing, or what you might do? So they might even ask you all this kind of questions in the interview. So it's important, you need to know what is that I am going to do when I got selected as that particular job profile. So we have to have this kind of informations in our hand as well. Then third point, again, not only about the organizations or about the job profile, but it's the interview is all about us. We are going to give our interview, so they will be asking questions about us only. So sometimes it becomes very funny that the interviewer asks questions about us, and we sometimes, out of nervousness, we forget few things even about us. When the interviewer asked about your hobbies, sometimes we forgot what hobbies we have. And then when sometimes the interviewer asks, okay, which year did you pass your graduation? Sometimes when we submit our resume and we forgot to mention the year which we passed out the graduation, or say 10+2 or master. And sometimes out of the blue, the interviewer asks, okay, when did you pass your graduation? Sometimes the questions comes like that, just like that. So it's a very simple questions. But then sometimes we forgot that, okay, acha, which year did I pass my graduation? Which year did I pass my, oh, it may be in 2017. No, it's in 2018. Sometimes we got confused of which year we even passed our graduation. So the interviewer will start thinking that, okay, you don't know which year you passed your graduation also, like, that reliability think, the impressions, it goes down again. So we have to, when we talk about knowing ourselves, that means small things when we are going to present ourselves in front of someone, not only for interview, I would say, but it's very important that whenever a question has been asked about us, when we give the answer very firmly, it creates very good impressions. So when we are going to appear for an interview, it is very important that we also need to do a proper research about ourselves, that the in which year we, if we talk about qualifications, that then sometimes we are, because of nervousness, we even forget the name of the college also properly. We are not able to tell them. Then especially the years, I have seen many, whenever I take any interview, uh, when I see a long gap of working experience and the education things, I sometimes ask questions about educational background, or even the working experience, where all have you work. Sometimes in the resume we have not mentioned properly, and the interviewer are keen to know more in details about your working period, about a particular place in a particular organization. So it is very important that, okay, I have worked in this company from this time to this time, or I have done this at this year, like that, when everything needs to be at the tip of your finger. So when things are at your tip of finger and they ask you questions, and immediately when you give the answer, that creates a very good impressions. And it gives a vibes that, okay, you are a very well prepared person, so that impressions, it's very important we have to create. So this is the reason why we need to do a research about ourselves as well. Now, when we go for any kind of interview, see, interview can come in different forms. It can be like telephonic interview, it can be a personal interview, or it can be like a video call of interview. So now it's very advanced stage where we don't need to go and give our interview at that place. We can just sit at one place and the interviewer can sit at different place, like how we are connecting right now through this kind of platform. So even we can have a video, we can give the interview through video call as well. So the interview can comes in a very in different form. But self presentation, when we talk about grooming, then this is this plays one of the most important part, because the interviewer will judge you in just 60 seconds of your appearance. It may be through, if we talk about video interview, then how we sit in front of the camera and how we present ourselves, how we talk ourselves. There also, sometimes we we take things lightly by saying that, okay, it's just a video interview and I am not going to present myself in person in front of the interviewer, so I can just take care of my the grooming, half grooming, and below I don't need to groom anything, or I don't need to take care of the other environment around me. So people sometimes um take this kind of risks of not taking care of their environment or not taking care of their personal grooming, and then just sit in front of the computer and they give the interview. So this creates lots of risks again, of not getting through with the interview, because that doesn't create good impression. So it can be a personal interview where we have to sit in front of the person directly and give our interview, or it may be in front of a system like this, in a computer or in a laptop. This is always important for us to be well groomed. And it's when we talk about interview, that means it's a formal meeting. So when it is a formal meeting, we have to make sure we present ourselves formally in a proper formal dress, and we have to be well groomed. It may be how we apply makeup and what kind of dress we wear, or even for boys as well, how we take care of our hair, how we take what kind of color combinations of dress we wear. So all these things, self grooming is also very important, because in 60 seconds, like I said, as soon as you enter and as soon as they see you from head to toe, when once they just go through and look at you, they would definitely start judging you, and they will feel that, okay, what to do with this person? Either I should spend another half an hour, or either I should spend another 10 minutes and take the interview of this person, or I should just, okay, this person is not going to work, so fine, I'll just do some formalities and send this person out from the room in 5 minutes. So everything, your impressions, your opportunities can get spoiled because of your grooming standards as well. So it is very important for us to present ourselves very well, and whatever dress we wear and however we wear, we need to make sure that we wear appropriately, where we feel comfortable in what we are wearing, in what in throughout that particular short span of time we are having an interactions with the interviewer. We have to create good impressions, so we need to look comfortable as well, and we have to wear appropriate dress. So before we go for any kind of interview, we have to make sure we are ready with our dress. We are well prepared for our grooming part as well, so that on the day of the interview, we don't need to run here and there, and we don't need to, you know, um, like sometimes even I find it very funny to mention this, that sometimes the electricity doesn't come and we forgot to iron our clothes, and then the clothes is not well ironed and we have to wear like go wearing like that, and we cannot look good on the day of the interview. So if we are going interview for any job profile, next day or day after 2 3 days or next day, wherever we are going, we have to make sure, if you plan to go for any interview, beforehand we have to keep everything ready, so that on the day of the interview we can just do give our best. So grooming and what kind of dress, how to dress, all these things also, we have to keep everything ready and well prepared. Then, next point, like we know that when we go for interview, definitely they would be asking questions to us. Now, there are some questions which we say as a frequently asked questions. Like example, introduction. Whenever we go for any kind of interview, it's compulsory that they would definitely start the conversations with an introduction. So they are going to ask you about your introduction. So we know that, okay, definitely when I go for interview, they would definitely ask me this question, introduce yourself. So there are some questions which we term it as frequently asked questions in the interview. And these days it's very like Google is very helpful. If you just type um, frequently asked questions for the job profile which you are going and applying for, then you'll find a list of frequently asked questions, and even some have given the answers for those questions. You have questions and answer also, so it's a good platform for you to study and analyze that, okay, these are some of the expected questions they might ask, they may not ask, that's different thing. But preparations is also very important, that if I'm going for an interview, okay, these questions might ask. So in case if these questions comes to me, then I can give the answer like this. So you have to prepare it. You prepare a list of question and answer, and you see which one sounds much better, which one sounds much convenient for you to give the answers. And maybe the answers which you give may not work, maybe the answers which you prepared may impress the interviewer and may work also. There are many a times where I have actually, during my struggling time, when I applied for aviation, some airlines, I was very much interested to work in the aviation industry. In fact, I have flight with the Kingfisher Airlines for some short span of time. So when at that time when I was going and applying for an interview, I find it like I used to list down a long list of frequently asked questions. I used to Google it, and I used to find the answers, options. Okay, if this question has been asked, how I have to give the answer. Like that, I used to have a list of question and answer. But then during the time of the interview, all the answers which I have prepared, sometimes when they ask and when I give the answer, I fail in many of my interviews. So what I do, of course, I cry when I didn't get through with the interview. It's very disheartening. I skip my dinner, lunch for 2, 3 days. Also, sometimes when I fail the interview, I faced many failures in interview. But the best part for me, I would say, is even though I fail, after 1 or 2 days of uh, you know uh, skipping my dinner or lunch, what I usually do is I study again. I try recalling everything, and I try to remember what actually happened in that short span of time. What are the questions which has been come up to me? How did I give the answer? What was the dress which I wear? And how did I enter? How did I sit? How did I talk? I try recalling everything, and I try to find it out my own mistakes. I try to do a research of why I was not selected, what went wrong. So I did a research like that, and if I feel that okay, this if this answer didn't work, maybe this answers which I had given was not so impressive and it was not so good, so maybe I'll try changing the answers a little bit. So I work on myself like that, and slowly, when I apply different techniques, then slowly it works. So this is what I had done at my time. And I think this is what we all need to do, because we learn from our own mistakes as well. So we have to short list down a few questions which might come during the time of the interview, and keep your answers ready with you. So the questions may come in different way, the sentences may come in a different way, but uh, usually the questions, or most of the questions which has been asked in the interview, are all about you only, general things. It's about you, like they want to know about your strength, they want to know about your weakness, they want to know about your working history or your educational history or your family background, and a little bit of general knowledge about the current affairs. Because if you it's important also that you need to have good idea about the current affairs, whatever is going on around you, socially, politically, whatever, economically, whatever is going on. Try having some brief idea about whatever is going around, so that when the interviewer might feel that you are a responsible person, you are up to date to whatever is happening all around, not that you're lost in your own world all the time. So kindly list down some of the frequently asked questions, and prepare an answer before that. If it's been asked, fair enough, you have the answers in the tip of your finger. So that sounds very impressive. But if the questions which you had prepared didn't came, but still you have little big backups in your mind, that okay, if something relevant to the strength part has been asked, I had prepared the answer like this. So you can just correlate with every question and answer which you have prepared, and that will be a very helping points for you when you answer the questions of the interviewer. So please prepare some of the frequently asked questions. Just that you have to understand two things. There is the open-ended questions and close-ended questions. So when they asked you open-ended questions, give the answer like you are given a platform where, if, for example, if they asked you what is when we talk about open-ended questions, if they asked you, okay, can you just share your working experience history, then you are given a platform where you are allowed to speak and share your working history properly. But in a close-ended questions, they if they asked you, okay, which year did you pass your graduation, and you start giving the answer from, I have done my schooling from this, and then 10 plus 2 from this, and then graduation. So if you come like that, then That is not a close-ended question. So you just need to understand the kind of questions which has approached to you, and you have to give the answers accordingly. So that makes the interactions very effective. Okay, then another point, when we talk about preparations before going interview, then I would again say, preparations of our resume. This is also very, very, very important, because resume is sometimes, when we are not, when we have not interacted with the interview, sometimes in some, I would say most of the time, we submit the resume first before we go for a personal interview, or before we interact with the interviewer, we submit our resume. So resume is something which is going to represent us. So it needs to be, it needs to be very impressive again. Now, sometimes people add very false informations in their resume, even especially if you have work in a particular organization for 3 months, for example, but in the resume, just to create that impression, sometimes we write 6 months, or say 1 year working experience in that particular organization. So we give fake informations in their resume, and we have, like, to impress the interviewer so much, we are so much interested to add so many things in our resume, whatever we have done in terms of extracurricular activities, or say our achievements and all. So we try adding so many things in the resume again. So we make 2 3 pages of resume, and we submit to the interviewer. But then later, when the interviewer just go through with the resume, they got to know that all the qualifications which you have, or all the informations which you have mentioned in the resume, that's not so relevant with the job profile. So if this person has, sometimes I find it very funny that people even include about blood donation, joining the blood donation camp, or Swachh Bharat, all this cleaning stuffs and all. So all small localities, activities which you do, sometimes they even include that I have participated in this, I have participated in that. They add so many things in their resume, just to impress the interviewer. But in turn, by mistakes, we don't impress them, and it looks very funny, and it looks like something not required at all. So when we make a resume, we have to make sure that we can always keep our resume updated, and we can always change the informations which we had put it in the resume, as per the requirements also, which is absolutely fine. You can take it out some, you can add some, as per requirement. So if it's only required and relevant to why the purpose the resume is used, then only it looks very impressive when we go through with the resume. So unnecessarily, the informations which is not required, kindly avoid those informations, and which you feel that kind of activities which you had actually participated in, and that has been a good achievements in your life, and this is going to be a very like very impressive and a very interesting kind of building a very interesting kind of image for yourself in front of the people. Then yes, those kind of things we can include in it. So kindly don't take lightly in preparing your resume, because when your resume looks very neat, tidy, and the entire informations which you had put it there, if you don't write too much, but then with the key points, if you write it very nicely, then even when we go through with the resume, we don't like reading too much. A piece of paper is given to us, and we don't want to read everything, long things which you have written down. Write in only things which is required, and try to shorten up whatever you are writing, if you write too much, if you add too much, that's how, when we just look at the resume and we see so many things has been written, nobody has time to read too much. Until unless you are a very experienced person, you have a very long good terms of experience, then yes, people would definitely understand that, okay, this person has a long 20, 30 years of experience, and so okay, obviously in this long years he had done so much, he might have done so much, so there might be so many things to include. So that's a different story again. But if you are a fresher, or if you just started your career and things are, you not you just started it, then if you add unnecessary so many things, then that's not going to help you out. So you have to prepare your resume and keep your resume ready and handy with you. And even your documents, before you go for interview, you have to keep everything ready. Sometimes the passport size photographs is also required. Sometimes the photocopies of your qualifications is also required. But I would always suggest you that you don't take your original certificates along with you on the day you go for interview, until and unless you've been asked to bring your original certificates. Because on the way, by default, if your documents gets misplaced, then it's going to be a big loss for you. So avoid taking your original certificates. Rather than that, you can just do a photocopy, and you can just keep all those things ready and handy along with you. So even if you have submitted your resume before you go for interview, you should always make sure on the day of the interview, especially if it's a personal interview and you are visiting the person personally, then you should always carry an extra copy of your resume along with you, just in case they forgot to take a printout of your resume and your resume is not in front of them. Then you should have your resume directly in front of, in your hand, and you hand it over to them. So that makes things easier for them, and it looks nice as well. So please make sure that your resume, your photographs, your documents, everything's are kept ready before you go for any kind of interview. Now, what is the main well, most of us, what we do whenever we go for any kind of interview, what we do is we got very nervous. We uh, we out of very excitement, or say, okay, tomorrow I have interview, tomorrow I have interview, and then whatever we are discussing right now, like resume, frequently asked questions, so you started getting yourself very busy, and you become stressed. You become so stressed when you are going and applying for an examination, or when you are going for a interview. We are busy all the time in our mind, preparing the answers, or trying to recall, okay, what I have to do, what's left, what is there, what I'm going to do tomorrow, okay, what I'm going to wear tomorrow. Like that, when we are busy, when we are busy preparing of uh, that particular the big day, sometimes we become so stressed. Now what happened when we are too stressed getting ourselves ready for the interview? On the day of the interview, on the actual day of the interview, you will not look good, and you will not be able to perform well, because you are very stressed. When you are so stressed, you will not sleep properly, because you keep thinking that, okay, tomorrow is the day, tomorrow is the day, so I have to wake up, I have to wake up. So all the time when you are overstressed because of all these preparations, immediate preparations, then you become overstressed, and on the day of the interview you will look very tired, you will look very dull, and you will not have that attractive kind of or pleasant kind of person. You will not be able to reveal those kind of impressive personality in front of the interviewer. So it is very important why we are discussing about preparations. What are the things we have to do prior to the interview? and not immediately like tomorrow's interview and today I have to get everything ready, not like that. So take things slowly. Yes, of course, if you don't have the time and you suddenly got to know about the vacancy, tomorrow is interview and today is the day you have time, then of course we have no other choice rather than preparing everything today. But if you keep everything handy prior to the day of the interview, then you you need to relax also when you have into on the day of the interview. What I usually do is, if tomorrow is my exam, I don't study too much whole night. I don't study. Or if there is an interview tomorrow, what I do is I take a complete rest today, so that I look good and I look very fresh, energetic and enthusiastic the next day, because that's how I want to present myself, and that's how I feel that I can create that impressions in front of the interviewer. So don't over stress. So that's the reason why we are doing preparations before the interview day. So take a good sleep. That's very important. Before you go for interview, take a good sleep, take rest. If you are interested in music, uh, listen to music and try to refresh your mind. Don't think too much about what will happen on the day of the interview, because that you do before, not on the at the time when things has come very close, or even so immediately before you go for interview. Don't stress out. So in short, what I'm trying to tell you is, if you are overstressed, then you don't present yourself well. So it's very important, don't stress. Eat properly, sleep properly, take a complete rest, refresh yourself. Early morning when you wake up, you do a proper meditation, try to relax your breathing, because when we are totally relaxed, then we can control our nervousness. When we are busy thinking this, that, everything all over around us, then we become more nervous. And when we become nervous, whatever we have prepared, we forget everything, and that's how we lost getting through with the getting that particular job. So before you go for any kind of interview, there are many more which we can discuss about it, and there are many more which we can think of it, about the preparations before we go for interview. But to make it very simple and short and easy for everyone, I'm just saying that you have to understand the kind of organizations you are applying a job for. You have to know what types of organization it is, what type of company is it. Then number two, you have to understand what is the basic job responsibility of the job profile which you are applying a job for. And you need to get your resume prepared properly prior to submitting your resume or going for any kind of interview. You have to keep all the questions, frequently asked questions, handy with you. If you prepare your introductions very, very well, and we all know that as soon as the interview starts, the first questions always come as a introduce yourself. So we know that as soon as I enter or as soon as I start the interview, this question is coming compulsory to me. So if you are prepared, if you make your introductions very attractive and very nicely, if you can give the introductions without making any mistakes, then obviously you can create that good impressions in front of the interviewer as well. So making a proper list of frequently asked questions and getting your answers and questions ready, that's very handy and helpful for you as well. And yes, of course, coming back to the grooming and the kind of dress which you are going to wear on the day of the interview, keeping everything ready and handy so that you don't take risks of messing out things on the day of the interview. That is also important. Again, uh, like I've said, that even knowing about yourself, not adding too much in the resume, which is a false information, but again, knowing everything about yourself, your qualifications, your job profiles, or whatever, any questions which comes to you, related to you, at least that you need to know. If they asked you anything related to politics, if they asked you anything related to general knowledge and you don't have the answer, that's absolutely fine. But if they asked you anything about you and you don't know the answers properly, then that doesn't look nice as well. So knowing yourself and doing a proper study about yourself before you present yourself in front of the person or in front of the interviewer, that is very important. And last not the least, you eat well, sleep well, relaxed, so that on the day of the interview, you can present yourself being very energetic, very enthusiastic, and you look good on the day of the interview. So these are some of the preparations we are supposed to do before we go for any kind of interview. Now, let's come to the time when we go, the day we go for the interview. So, on the day of the interview, what are the things we are supposed to do? So, whatever informations I am providing right now, this is a very easy and a practical thing which most of the people doesn't do actually. And that's where uh, the interviewer is also focusing more, and most of the time we forget, we skip these areas because we try preparing very difficult parts, but we missed out all these small easy things, and we focus more on difficult part. So that's where we lost our points. So let's come back to the day of the interview. Okay, so whatever we had discussed was before we go for the interview, and on the day of the interview, what we will do. I'll tell you what I had experienced once is whenever I go for any kind of interview, I used to see in the newspaper the ad has been given, and they mention the time of the interview. Sometimes they said 10 a.m. the time of the interview, and venue they will write the venue. So what I used to do during the time when I was struggling for a job, uh, I used to get myself ready by 8, 9 if the interview is going to start by 10, and then I used to reach the venue by 10. Then when I reach, even though I reached there by 10, I used to see that a huge, long, a long lines of candidates was always there. So I was thinking that I come at 10 a.m., but still I will see long lines and I have to join after 50, 60 people, even though I reached there on time by 10. So being very over smart, I would say, I sometimes used to think that, okay, even though if I go at 10, I would definitely find lots of people, applicants already standing in the queue. So it's better I go a little late so that I don't need to stand in that queue for a long time. And if when the queue become a little shorter and the candidates become less, I can just go a little late and then join so that I don't need to waste my time standing in the queue. So I used to think like that. So what happened one day, I missed my interview because I had submitted my resume, and they have selected me by checking my resume, and they send me the email, a separate personal interview. For personal interview, they send me an email, and they have write the time, the venue, everything. And again, that time, the time which was mentioned in my mail was 1 p.m., and they have given the venue as well. And I would say that was for Air Sahara Airlines, and now Air Sahara is not there. I still remember, I can't forget this incident, and that is one of my experience, the mistakes, the biggest mistake which I had made it. So when I got that mail, and I was thinking that, okay, fine, even though if it's at 1 p.m., nobody is going to take my interview at 1 p.m. Usually I'll find long list of number of queue will be definitely there. Many candidates might be there. So it's better I go around 3. So I thought of reaching the venue by 3. So my interview time was allotted at 1 p.m., but I reached the venue by around 2:30. I still thought that I am early when I reach at 2:30 there. And as soon as I reach, I see only 2, 3 people sitting in, each corners of the room. And as soon as I enter, I told to the receptionist that I had an interview. So is it over? Or even I thought the interview might be over, that nobody was there, or maybe not yet started. Then I asked the receptionist that I have an interview. The interview is over. Then they said, "Ma'am, what time is your time slots?" Then I said, "Okay." And then I suddenly remember it was written 1 p.m. So I said, "It was at 1 p.m." Then the person was asking me, "Okay, so what is the time now?" And I said, "Okay, it's 2:30. So why are you here now?" The exam time, your interview was at 1. You are supposed to reach before 1 here so that you can give your interview at 1. Why are you here now? That was the question, and it was very embarrassing for me. And there itself I suddenly realized that, okay, I had done a very big mistake, and I really lose that job also. I didn't get an opportunity to get that job. I insisted, I request a lot to those people, and then somehow I got an opportunity to give my interview, but just because of my wrong time management and the punctuality issues, I lost that job and I didn't get it. So this was one of my very bad, I think, good learning experience, I would also say. So here, why I am sharing this is because it is very important for us to reach on time whenever we go for interview. uh, Not only reaching exactly on the time given to us or allotted to us to come and give the interview, but reaching at least, say, 10 or 15 minutes prior to the time allotted to us and making ourselves ready to go and give the interview. This is very helpful for us because on the way, when we are coming, anything might happen. There might be a traffic, there might be any problems we might face on the way. So rather than giving an excuse to the interviewer that, okay, why are you late, why didn't you reach on time, rather than giving an excuse, it's better we don't create that kind of situations and we reach prior to the time allotted to us. And we even get a time to assemble ourselves properly. We even get time to take care of, to read, you touch up on the way when we are well groomed. And when we come, sometimes we don't get time to assemble ourselves properly and we just need to rush inside the interview room. So then we find things are messy so in somewhere. So we have to give time to ourselves. When you take 10 or 15 minutes, sit outside, you wait for your time for the interview. When you sit outside, you assemble yourself properly, you take a deep breath, you calm down, and then you compose yourself properly. And then when you are ready to give the interview, when you enter the interview hall like that, you look very confident. You'll not find nervous, and you perform well during the time of the interview. So on the day of the interview, it's very important. We have to do a proper time management. Punctuality is very important, and you have to reach prior 10-15 minutes to the interview time allotted to us. So this is the first thing I would definitely say. And yes, I have already, I've been associating with the hospitality industry for quite a long years now. So I've been always taught since day one. I have got into this industry, that we should always carry a smile in our face, because this is very helpful for us. People like us when we smile and when we talk, when we interact with people all the time. And it gives very confident, it it makes us look confident when we smile and when we interact with people or when we talk. So s- before, even I used to think that it's very annoying to even smile when we are very nervous, and it's very awkward to smile and looking to the strangers and smile, because the interviewer, I haven't met those people before and I'm meeting for the first time, and just smiling to them, it looks very awkward. This was few things which was there in my mind when I was very young and when I started off my journey in this industry. But slowly, I realized the power of smiling. Whenever now, whatever happened, whatever the situation is, smiles automatically comes out in me. So I think this is one of the benefits and advantage I got working in the hospitality industry. And I also genuinely feel that when we smile and when we talk and interact with people, it gives a very good vibes to the people with whom we are interacting with. And uh, again, people liked it because you look very friendly, and people feel comfortable sharing their point of view to you when you smile and interact with them. So on the day of the interview, uh, yeah, I would say 30-40% of your interview marks will you will get because of the way you present because of the way you smile and talk, because that shows that you are a very confident person and you are not nervous at all. So it's very important you should carry a smile on your face. Trust me, this is very, very helpful for us. You smile and you talk and you give the answers whatever questions they ask. You look very calm, composed, and you didn't look nervous. When you are not smiling and you look very serious, then obviously it looks like you are very scared, you are very nervous. It's true that when we give for an interview and when we are so desperate to get a job, we become more nervous because we are very scared of making mistakes. We feel that, okay, if I say this, maybe I might make this mistake, or if I do this, then I might make mistake. So when you think too much about making mistakes, then your confidence stoop down. So this is the reason why we have done the preparations part, so that we don't make mistakes. So on the day of the interview, just give your best, just relax and just concentrate. Think that you're just having a normal conversation, though the kind of communications you will have with the interviewer will be a very formal one, but still just think that, okay, somebody is here to ask something to me and I am giving that information whichever the person has asked to me. Think it like that and take it very, very lightly, and give the answer very cool and very calmly. This is how you can control your nervousness. Okay, so carrying a smile and presenting yourself uh, very calmly, composedly, this creates a very good impression in front of the interviewer that makes you look very comfortable. So that is one of the plus point. And yes, when you wear any kind of dress, it should be a formal wear when we go for interview, and should not be something which looks very uncomfortable to you when you sit, when you stand, when you work. Even the shoes which you're wearing, the dress which you're wearing, either it may be a trousers or it may be a skirt or it may be anything, whatever dress which you wear, you make sure you wear an appropriate one, and you wear something which is very comfortable to you, but again doesn't look so casual, because it's a formal meeting, it's a formal interview is obviously a formal meeting, so you should present yourself formally. Now, regarding the body language, again, we get lots of points when we take care of our body language on the day of the interview. From the time you knock the door and you enter inside the interview room, till the time you are asked to sit down in front of the interviewer, and before they start asking questions to you, in that short seconds or in that short minutes, they would observe everything about you from head to toe. They would observe how you enter. Sometimes I have also come across, when I take interview, that they just came inside the room directly without asking anything, without taking any permissions, and then they just sit in front of me and in the table directly, in the chair directly, and they would just wait for me to ask the questions. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So like that, that kind of thing. So the interviewer wants, obviously, to get respect, you know not that you just come inside the interview room without saying anything and just, okay, fine, I'm ready, you ask, not that kind of attitude. But yes, definitely the everybody wants to get respected, right? And when that particular things doesn't, and person who is sitting in the panel as an interviewer, obviously they have a very good experience, and that's the reason why they are sitting there as an interviewer. So they want to get that respect. The more you respect them, when you wish them properly, you greet them, and you show proper respect to them, then this is also one of the techniques of impressing the interviewer. So like I said in the beginning as well, small things, not only that the questions which they asked you, you give the answers properly on that only, or even though they asked you every questions which they ask you, you answer you give the correct answers to all the questions which they have asked you. But if you if you make mistakes in presenting yourself, in your self presentation, or in your body language, or in the way you communicate, your communication skills, and even though you know all the answers, you may not still get the job also. So not necessary that the questions and answers should be correct things is not so important, but how you present yourself, impression. We always say the first impression is the last impression, so creating that impressions is again very much important. So before you enter inside the room, if it's a personal interview, take a deep breath, check your watch properly, and see what time is it. Many people make mistakes in greeting. Uh, it's afternoon. Sometimes you say good morning, ma'am, good morning, sir, like that. And when it is, good morning, out of nervousness, you sometimes say good afternoon also. So like I said, before you enter the room, compose yourself properly, take a deep breath, check your watch, and prepare. Okay, fine. As now I'm going to say good morning. So every meeting should always start with the greetings. Okay, that creates a very, very warm, very good kind of relationship when we we start the conversations with a greeting along with a smile. So that's very important. So as soon as you enter, you will obviously see a number of panels sitting in front of you, maybe ladies, maybe gentlemen, or maybe only the ladies, or maybe only the gentlemen. So don't make mistakes in in your entrance and in your exit from the room. So your TikTok, your mark TikTok, performance TikTok would start from uh, the time you step in, you open the door and you step in inside that room. So this is very important. Your impressions, time, TikTok, it will start from that time only. So enter the room. Don't forget to greet them properly. Many forget to greet. Many forget, and they expect you to. The interviewer expect someone to enter inside the room and notice them first and wish them first or greet them first. Trust me, many have failed in doing this. So you should never skip any chance of impressing the interviewer. So you enter, you definitely start with the greetings. That's very good. And when you greet, obviously, from the time you step in inside that room, you should always carry your smile throughout the interview. You should always carry your smile. That looks beautiful on you also when you smile, and obviously, you looks very confident. So you enter, you greet them properly, and until and unless they asked you to sit down, please don't sit. Most of us, we just rush into the chair. Obviously, they will not take your interview by making you stand for the time when you are going to give your interview. It's obvious that they would definitely ask you to sit. They would definitely say, okay, please sit down. So have patience and wait for the time where they would ask you to sit down. Don't just jump into the chair and then sit. And many did that because I think maybe because uh, you are nervous also, that you feel very uncomfortable, you feel very awkward, you're just trying to hide yourself, half of your body, so that you become little confident. So this is one of the major mistakes most of the youths or candidates do when you enter inside the interview room. So small things like I said. So enter, you knock the door properly, you don't forget to greet the interviewer, then just stand for some time until they ask you to sit down properly. When you sit down, please take care of your body language. Make sure your dress are properly been assembled properly. Usually the women or ladies usually carry handbags, and you'll always carry your resume in a proper folder file also. So it looks very messy when you keep your bags also on top of your laps, and then again you keep your documents and your resumes and all the papers in front. Looks like you look like, you look very messy when you sit like that. So when somebody sits in front of me with all the stuffs putting on top of the lap, I feel like, okay, now relax, take a deep breath. Oh, what are you doing? That kind of it makes even the interviewer feel very uncomfortable because of the way you are sitting with so many stuffs on top of your laps. So if you're carrying a handbag, it's okay. You just keep your handbag at the side of the chair, and the resume, the documents, everything, assemble it properly in a proper file, keep it inside, and keep it in your lap. And if they asked you to give your resume, then only you take it out, your resume, and then you hand it over to the interviewer. Sometimes when the interviewer asked you, okay, can I see your resume? Sometimes they hand it over all the file to the resume, which has all the documents also, which has the photographs also, which has the resume also, and then you hand it over the big file which is full of documents to the interviewer. And it's like, okay, you search for my resume, or you search whatever you want to see, everything is there in that file, so chalo, take it, like that kind of thing. So that hurts the ego of the interviewer also. Okay, why are you giving me all this stuff? I'm asking you for a resume, so just give me the resume only. So when they asked you for resume, obviously I think resume is the first documents they would definitely ask for. So keep your resume first. You also know what are the things you have kept in that documents, and keep it things in a proper sequence, so that whenever they ask you, you don't need to keep searching and finding all the papers rotating all over around. So when you know whatever you have kept it in sequence, you can just lift it up a little bit and then take it out. And if they asked you for your 10 pass certificates, 12 pass certificate, or your graduation, or any kind of documents they asked you, if you are carrying along with you, then you can just hand it over to them properly, nicely. So if they say resume, take it, the resume only out, and hand it over to them properly. Don't hand over the like the profile, the files directly to them. So that looks very unprofessional also. So right, like that, wherever you sit in front of the interviewer on the day of the interviewer, all this areas, like small things, your grooming part, the dress which you wear, the way you enter inside the room, the way you sit down, the way you how you sit, in how you take care of that particular environment where you are sitting, your chair, your table, not leaning on the chair too much, not bending too much, and don't not folding your legs and shaking your legs too much, not moving your hands too much. So these are some of the body language which we have to be very careful. And when we are nervous, sometimes we don't know what are the dress which we are wearing, like what are we doing with our hands. Sometimes we don't know what we are doing with our legs. So out of nervousness, we intend to do so many things which make it look very awkward also. So we have to know how to take care of our body language. When we know how to take care of body language, we looks very presentable at the same time. So last not the least, I would say a little bit about our hobbies, our strength and weakness, which when I came across many of the candidates or applicants when they apply for any job, I have always seen that during the time of the introductions, the many people definitely mentions about their strength also, that I am a this person. I'm very friendly. I'm a very hardworking person. I'm this. I'm that. During the time of the introduction, and again, some people by mistake, or I don't know, by default, I would say, they even mention their weakness also by themselves before anybody asks them about their weakness. We sometimes disclose our weakness also. So even about the hobbies as well, um, people have a very like misunderstand, they misunderstand the concept of hobbies also sometimes, and just to make it sound very nice, they just steal someone's hobbies and then they would say that these are my hobbies. So it's very funny that you are a person who hardly read novel, who doesn't read newspaper, but you say that my hobbies is reading newspaper. And sometimes say I love reading novels when you have read, when you have not read novels at all also, or you are a person who read newspaper once in a blue moon. Not that you are a person who read newspaper on a daily basis. We need to understand the concept behind the hobbies, how we keep ourselves, how we keep our hobbies in front of the interviewer. Something hobbies generally is something which we do on a regular basis, where in our lean time, when we are free, we prefer doing that, like watching TV or playing any kind of games. Whenever we are free, we love to do that. We are passionate about doing that particular activity, so this is what we call hobbies. So when we say this is my hobbies, then it's obvious that we know quite a lot about that particular activity because we keep doing that. Now when you say reading novels or reading newspapers is your hobbies, then definitely people intend to ask you, okay, so can you share some of the headlines of today's newspaper, because I have not read the newspaper today. Since it's your hobbies, I'm sure you might have read the newspaper. So what's the headlines there in the newspaper? And you said, okay, I forgot to read the newspaper today because there was an interview, so I was busy preparing for my interview. And then, okay, fine, no problem. You tell us about yesterday headlines then. Like, okay, even yesterday also I didn't get a chance to read the newspaper. So you would give this kind of answers only because you don't know you what is the headlines. You have not read the newspaper, right? So be very careful. Don't take risks of uh, you know take the risks. Don't take risks of making mistakes in all this kind of small things. When you say hobbies, you need to understand. If you say I like playing football or I like playing basketball, if it's about any kind of sports activities, then you should know how the game is or how the sports is played properly. If you say I love watching movies, then at least you should know some of the names of the movies. They might ask you, okay, which is your favorite movie then? And they might even ask you, if you mention the name of the movie, they might ask you, okay, uh, what the story, what this movie is all about, what kind of story is it, and who's the actor, who's the actress. They might even ask you. It's a very general simple questions which sometimes the interviewer do ask actually. So like I said, personal interview is all about personal. It's about us. So what you are going to say, you have to be you should know what is that you like, what is that you are going to say. Accordingly, how to make the interview easy or how to make the interview difficult is actually in our hand, I would say, because if the interviewer will definitely ask you questions based on the answer you give. So it's going to be a very easy flow. It would go in a proper flow, that you ask something, they will ask you accordingly like that. You will say something based on that, they will ask you questions again. So the interviews sometimes happen in such manner also. So when you talk about your, even about your strength or about your weakness, if you are a person who are not even smiling, who look very serious because you are very nervous in the interview, and you're not smiling at all, you look very serious, then you say, as a okay, what kind of person you are? If you would like to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself? What kind of person you are? Who is you? If they asked you like that, then obviously you're going to share your strength to them. But when you share your strength to them, that if you say, I'm a very friendly and say very flexible person, but then you went throughout the time when I'm taking your interview, you didn't look friendly at all, you didn't look flexible at all. I didn't feel that you are you are comfortable right now in front of me. Obviously it's an interview, I know, but still. So when you present your good points in front of the interviewer, it should actually match with your personality also. So there is a saying that we need to be very honest in the interview at certain areas, but we can't be too honest, and we have to play around with our words sometimes, if it comes to our weakness again. So in our strength or in our weakness, sometimes some people, they even share by saying that I'm a very lazy person or I'm a very short tempered person. So you share your true weakness during the time of your interview, and nobody is interested in lazy person, nobody's interested to hire a short tempered person. We are not interested in those things. Some even says that my communication skills is very weak. That's my weakness. So I am actually looking for someone whose communication skills is very strong, not for someone whose communication skills is weak. And I'm not looking for someone who is a very short tempered person. I want a person who is very calm and composed, who can handle every situations very easily. So when you are too honest with your answers again in some areas like say weakness, then again it can be a problem. So you need to be a little manipulative and you need to be very clever when you give your weakness should come in such a way that it is actually a weakness for you, but then for the person who is going to hire you, it's not kind of weakness for them from their point of view. Because say for example, you if you are applying for a job of something where you say example, you're applying a job for a front office department, and you need to present yourself as a very calm and composed person because you can't get angry. And if you say that I am a very short tempered person, in the front office department, if a guest enter in the hotel, say I'll take an example of a hotel. If the guests enter in the hotel and if you are a very short tempered person, when they keep asking you certain things or for any XYZ reason, they are very angry and they keep on scolding you. And if you're a very short tempered person, you start fighting with the guests, then everything is gone again. That's not how you are supposed to work, right? So nobody's interested to work to hire someone who's a very short tempered person. So rather than that, if you feel that I should say something, a weakness which is actually is a weakness for me, but doesn't matter for the interviewer whether you have this weakness or not, it's until unless it's not going to affect the job profile which you are into, then it doesn't matter. So if I say, rather than saying a short tempered or a very lazy person or this and that, something very strong negative qualities, rather than if I say um, I'm very fond of ice cream. I love sweets. I love eating sweets. And I think this is one of my major weakness. Example, okay. If I say like this, then now the interviewer will think, okay, this person likes to eat sweets. This person likes eating ice cream. So it's okay. Even if you eat ice cream, if you don't eat ice cream, it doesn't matter until unless you perform well in our as a job, as a receptionist. That's fine for me. Getting so this is how we have to prepare our weakness again. We should never reveal our true weakness. In fact, we have to work on our weakness separately so that we come out of that weakness, but we should never try to tell the interviewer directly about our main weakness. And sometimes, again, some people even say, I don't have any weakness, I don't find any weakness. So that means you are a perfect person, you don't have any weakness. Even everyone has weakness, everyone is not perfect, there's no one who is perfect. But when you say I don't have any weakness, I don't know, I can't find any weakness, that looks very overconfident again, right? So it's better you say something rather than saying I don't have any weakness. Say something, but make sure when you picked up anything, don't pick up something which is going to hamper the job profile. So these are some of the tips which I would definitely feel that it's not a very major thing, but very small things which I have shared today. So I strongly believe that if we take care of all this, whichever points we have discussed today or which I have presented or shared today, um, it will be a little helpful for you to get through with your interview. So I think we can start with the question and answer round. In case if anyone would like to ask anything, then we can proceed with that.
Participants, you can drop your queries in the chat box. Or you can unmute your.
Yeah, I will unmute everyone. Please, you can interact with the madam. Madam, in that process, your system also will mute and you have to unmute. Any questions? Dear participant, you can interact with the madam. Madam, there was a question from the chat box. They were asking about the ma'am how to give a good introduction.
Yes, right. I've seen the questions. Jenny Chanu, right? Ma'am, how to give a good introduction? Okay, I have mentioned quite a lot about giving a very impressive introduction. Introduction should be very short and simple, because when you talk too much about yourself, that sounds again very boring. And when you speak very less about yourself, again that sounds very incomplete also. So basically when we say quite a lot about us at the time when we are given an opportunity to introduce ourselves, then we have said everything about us to the interviewer, then we are left, the interviewer is left with no other further questions. So like I said in the previous thing, to make the interview easy is also some to some extent in our hand, and to make it difficult is in our hand. So introduction part, if you just mention about your highest qualification only, you say your full name. Sometimes we say, hi, I myself, say example, my name is Ranjita, and I will say, I myself, Ranjita, I am from this. So when we give a formal introduction, then we should always start with, hello, my name is Ranjita, and I would definitely would say my full name. Hello, my name is Kangembam Ranjita Devi. I am from this, like that, rather than saying, hi, I am, or I myself. So we avoid using this kind of lines or say sentences when we introduce ourselves. And you always mention a very brief information about yourself, but which is must and important for you to mention. Say for example, your full name, followed by from your, say, your address, or from where you are, from where you belong, and your highest qualification just, you don't need to start giving the entire history about your schooling. So brief it up with your highest qualification only. And then if you have a work profile, then try summing up a little bit, and try to highlight more on your latest working experience, or say any professional qualifications you had pursued. If it is relevant to the job profile which you have applied for, then try highlighting those things more on that very in a very short lines. Try highlighting those things. And even when we talk about our family background, sometimes some people mention quite a lot about the numbers of family members and what they are doing, their parents' name also. So kindly avoid doing all those things. Rather than that, just say that my father is working as this and my mother is this, because people are interested to know your family background also. So if you give only the main points like such, then definitely they would ask you if they are interested to know more about it. Then, okay, you have mentioned about your father and mother, but so I would like to know more, who all are there in your family, tell me more about your family background. Definitely they would ask. So you are giving a questions to the interviewer also, by the way you are giving your introduction. So just make it simple and short. uh, don't just end up by saying your name only or your address only. Just start with your name, your address, your highest qualification, any professional course which you had done relevant to the job applied for, and your parents only, what they are doing. And you can end up with the hobbies, which shows that what kind of person you are. So like that, I think you can just give a brief introductions about yourself. That sounds more impressive also. Well, I can see more questions. If I can continue, Avinash Singh, ma'am, can you please add some tricks for expressing my weak point? Yes. So weakness, like I said, we should never present our real weakness. Like most of the people, they try to be very honest and they tell their weakness, that I love sleeping quite a lot, I think this is my weakness. So when you are a person who love to sleep, whenever you are free, what productivity you will bring in your life, right? So like that, I'll give you some more examples. Like, I'm a very spendthrift person, or I'm a very shopaholic person, I hardly save money, I love buying new clothes. All these kinds of weakness is something which is not going to hamper anyone's life, or none of the professions is going to get affected, or any job profile is going to get affected if we give this kind of silly, like, or say I love eating spicy fruits, I'm a very uh, like spendthrift person, I'm very fond of pets, all this small small thing which you feel that okay, this is my weakness, but it's not a very big major kind of weakness. So you can present your weakness like that. Okay, and ma'am, how to deal with a situation when we have no knowledge of the questions asked? Okay, see, so there is no harm in saying that you don't know the answer, because we are not genius. We not compulsory that we need to know everything. You not compulsory that if I'm sitting in an interview, I have to know every questions, every answers, or every answer of the questions been asked. Nothing like that. So you have to take it out this thing. Yes, the maximum answers, if you know, it's good point for you. But in case if you don't know, then just be honest and say that the way you give the answer, when a question, example, a question has been asked to you and you don't know the answer, so how you will give the answer? I'm extremely sorry, I'm not sure about this questions, I'm not sure about the answer, but I would definitely try finding out the answer of these questions. So you can always give the answer like that. You don't need to worry of not knowing the answers. It's absolutely fine with that. It happens sometimes. Ma'am, what to say when interviewer asks, why should I hire you? Like if they're experienced candidates and you are just a fresher. See, there is this is one of the main thing which maximum people always think, that I am not a experienced person. I'm just a fresher. But then when I'm coming for an interview, the reason why I am not selected is because there are lots of experienced people. They would definitely hire experience. Why would they hire me when I'm a fresher? No, there is nothing as such like that. Okay. uh, there are interviewers who are very much more interested to hire a fresher rather than hiring an experienced person also, because freshers can be trained according how we want actually. Okay, if I am an interviewer, I would prefer yes, at some areas I prefer experience as well, but I would definitely love to hire a fresher as well, because a fresher already has the hard skills. It's just that I just need to train the person accordingly how I want the person to be. So it becomes more easier for me also. When the problems with the experienced person is sometimes when the person is to have lots of experience, they bring lots of attitude along with them also. This is one of the demerits of hiring the very experienced person also. Merit points are also there for hiring a experienced person, that it's very helpful. 90%, like 50% training you can just provide, rather than giving them 100% training. So because already they have the experience. But every organization have a different work profile, I mean way of working. So even though you are very good in even say the person is very good in one particular organization, but when the person comes and join in different organization, the work styles might differ a little bit. So it becomes more difficult for them to adjust with the new environment again. So this situation doesn't happen for the fresher. So there's no misconception that okay, we want fresher, we want experience, until unless they highlight that we want experience or we want fresher. So there's no doubt that fresher cannot get good jobs. So if you are a fresher, you should always try to show your best, that you are very much willing to learn and you are a very quick learner. You want to, you have to show that you are a very quick learner and you're interested and you're dedicated towards what are the responsibilities which they would be giving you. So that's how you have to impress the interviewer and show that even though I am a fresher, I can give my best and I can bring a good growth of the organization. So that's how you have to show yourself or present yourself in the interview. Next questions, Gulamani. Ma'am, how to control my nervousness while giving interviews? See, nervousness will always be there, but then how we control is through the preparations. What are the preparations which we have discussed today? If you are prepared and if you know what will happen, if you know what might happen, and if you know that if this situations come up, I would handle like this, if that situation come up, I would handle like this. If you are already prepared mentally, then it is very helpful for you, and automatically your nervousness level decrease, your confidence level grow. So it all depends on your preparations. Even if we talk about the introduction part as well, if you stand in front of the mirror and if you continuously practice looking an eye contact to yourself in the mirror, and if you practice continuously about how to introduce yourself properly without making any mistakes, then when you know what you're going to speak, then your confidence come up automatically, your nervousness decrease. So that's how we are going to control our nervousness, and that's through preparations only, proper preparations. Okay. As per your experience, what amount of percentage does the grooming part adds up to the selection of a candidate? Grooming is very important because when you present yourself properly as per the requirement, then it looks very impressive. It looks, when you look good, when you present yourself good. You see, it's not necessary that you have to wear a branded clothes all the time to look good. Whatever you have to wear appropriately. You have to wear neat and tidy and present yourself. That's what we are talking about. We are not talking about grooming in the sense like you have to apply heavy makeup or you have to wear a very nice expensive clothes, then only you'll become self-present. Your presentations will be nice. It's not like that. Whatever you have, however you have, but make sure that you look presentable, you look pleasant, you look decent, and you go with an appropriate as per the requirement of that particular situation. You should always pick up the choice of the colors, the choice of the dress, the form of the dress which you are wearing, the kind of color, the kind of colors which you even wear for your makeup, for your grooming, for your all this, even your trousers, your shirts, everything just need to look appropriately. When you present yourself like that, it looks very impressive, and then to feel that okay, this person takes care of themselves very well. And as soon as we see a very well groomed person, then we feel good, we get that positive vibes, we get that good vibes. So this is very helpful for us when at the time when we go for interview. So grooming is also very important. What is the role of eye contact during interview? Explain the situation, how to deal with the eye contact. Now, when we have an or contact on the, at the time of the interview, when we directly have an eye contact and have a word, and that shows that we are a confident person. When we don't maintain an eye contact and we look down and we look here and there and then we give the answers, then that shows that we are hiding something and we are not true to our words and we are not confident. So eye contact plays a very important role. Sometimes what happens is we have two interviewers or three interviewers sitting in front of us, and the question comes from one interviewer, and when we give the answer, we focus on the person who had asked the questions only. So this one we have to avoid it, because when you focus on one person only and have eye contact with that person, and you don't maintain eye contact to the remaining interviewer, then they feel left out. So this is something we should avoid doing it. Questions may come from any interviewer, but when we give the answer, we should make all the person who is sitting in front of you involved in your answer. So you should always rotate your eyes and have an eye contact. That makes the entire interviewer feel importance. That you're not looking to one person only. Okay, this person is not looking at me at all. This person is not giving any attentions to me at all. So like I said, every interviewer wants to get attentions, they wants to get respected. So you have to always maintain an eye contact. So in short, eye contact definitely makes the person feels that you are a very confident person. And obviously many people feel very awkward maintaining an eye contact directly to an unknown person or at the first meeting and speak. But this is something which is required even in the interview as well. It's going to be very helpful. So you have to practice maintaining eye contact. Shrikant Ningombam, how are we going to greet our interviewer when the interview is finished? Okay, greeting usually comes at the starting of the interview, not after the interview ends. We don't greet them. We start the interview. Before we start the interview, we greet them. After the interview is finished, you can just say, have a nice day, everyone. Thank you so much. And then you can just come out. Let's not talk too much. Let's not make it too difficult. The more we talk, the more we take risks. So let's make it very simple. You can just come out by saying thank you so much and have a nice day. That's it. You don't need to add too much. If you want to add, that's absolutely fine. But I'll definitely make it very simple. Ma'am, before an interview, what all background we need to know of the company and why it is necessary? Okay, about the company as such, like when this company has started, who is the owner or the director of the company, and like where all it is located, what business they deal, is it, and the company has a chain group, or it's located, they have only one company, it's located in one location only, and their achievements, like what are their achievements, what all they have done so far, how long this company has or existed. So basic things, such what I have just mentioned. If you find it out like that, then when the interviewer asked then they would definitely feel that, okay, you know a little bit about us, so okay, fine, like that kind of thing they will feel. Okay, so these are the background which you can find it out.
I can see two participants. They have raised their hands. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Sanjit Murmu. Yes, Sanjit Murmu, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the queries. Because you can also ask the queries. You have raised hand. Kindly unmute yourself. So they are not asking.
Madam, you can tell about the course you have opened in out there with Imphal also, so that the participants they can join. I'm talking about the course you opened recently at Imphal.
Okay. Right now I am actually associated with State Institute of Hotel Management, Manipur, which is actually a future upcoming IHM in Manipur. I think this is going to be the first time we are opening an IHM in Manipur. But like we all know, it's a government project, so it's getting a little slow. So side by side, like I am very much, as everybody know, that my expertise lies in workplace skills and soft skills, and also I have just recently opened my own soft skills training center in the name of her, HER, her. That's more based on a woman actually. So like I've come across many students who are very much willing and interested to join the soft skills training part. So I just want to make it a little professionally and give them a platform where they can take a training for 1 month course. So 1 month same kind of training which we are doing right now based on personality development with the soft skills. So there in 1 month I am teaching them this interview skills is also included, their effective communication skills, then like public speaking, how to carry positive attitudes, how to manage stress, how to manage their anger, how to set a goal in their life, how to face failures, and how to try achieving success in their life, and then how to stay happy in our life actually. So all these kinds of contents I'm adding in that 1 month. I don't want to make it for very long, so 1 month is I think enough for a person to enjoy the session. So this is a platform where they can come and they can try changing their personality, including the 1 month session. So right now I am planning of starting up with this 1 month personality development course there at my training center.
Okay, very nice. Congratulations, madam.
Thank
So
you.
my fellow colleagues who are from Manipur, you can join, and then I will also be joining when I am home. So today our speaker, Madam Khangemba Rajita, she has explained all the details right from the time we get the call letter from the interview, how you will prepare your resume, and then even how to prepare for your dress up and all that, and while during the interview what you should and what you should not do. I hope that all the participants from across the countries and all the participants here, most of our students are enlightened with your speech today. And then my words are not enough to express the gratitude. I thank you again for sharing. excuse me for. So I thank you for sharing your inspiring learning experience. And then many thanks for your brilliant session today. It is one of the best session, I'll say, till this third day training program. And on behalf of organizers and on behalf of the students, again, on behalf of all the participants, we express our heartfelt thanks to you, madam, hoping that we will be attending more sessions from your side in the coming future. Thank you again. Have a good day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to all the participants, all the organizers for having me. Thank you. I hope whatever I have shared today would be definitely beneficial for all of you, and I'm very glad that this opportunity has been given to me. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. And participant, this is for the participants. Madam, you can log out.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So the participants kindly fill up the attendance link, and then because the certificates will be given to those who attend 80% of the session. And tomorrow we have another wonderful speaker. So please be in time, and we will start our session at 11 a.m. sharp. Okay. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you.